What's happening, people? I hope you're all well. So, midweek report time, and I'm gonna start off with. Let me see what I'm gonna start off with. I'm gonna start off with Turkey Al Sheikh seems to be very keen on giving Deontay Wilder a last chance. He seems to be wanting Deontay Wilder to have one more crack at the whip, and he seems to be very keen on Deontay Wilder versus Derek Chisora. And for me, Deontay Wilder versus Derek Chisora is the most competitive that it will ever be at this stage. I think that when Wilder was at his prime, was when Wilder was in his prime rather, I think that Wilder versus Derek Chisora may have been very dangerous for Derek Chisora. But at this stage, I think that this could be a very competitive fight. Maybe even a fight that Derek Chisora can conceivably win. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Derek Chisora was to win that fight. So Deontay Wilder, Turkey Al Sheikh seems to. He doesn't seem to be one of those guys where it's like you lose one and you're done. He talked about giving Anderson another chance, and he's looking at giving Wilder essentially a third chance. So if you perform with merit, it seems that Turkey Al Sheikh will give you another chance, and he seems to be doing that with Deontay Wilder. Will Deontay Wilder take it? Will Deontay Wilder want to take it? That's a different matter, and we will see. Apparently, Turkey Al Sheikh has said he's tried and it didn't come off. So let's see what happens with that. Me personally, I think that Deontay Wilder, I mean, he can have one last crack at the whip. I think that he would need to do it slowly. I don't think he should even have a Derek Chisora level fight. I would even put him in against an absolute no-hoper journeyman, and then give him a couple of those fights and then look at stepping him up. That's how I would do it. But, if he's just looking for a cash and grab, then maybe a money fight against Derek Chisora, just beat Joe Joyce is the fight to make. Next one, Christian Mbili beating Derevianchenko. Now, Mbili looks like a good fighter. He looks athletic. He looks quite strong. He looks big for the weight. But Christian Mbili, for me, if he was to come up against some of the other super middleweights, such as Canelo Alvarez, such as Tim Tszyu, do you know what? I think that he could even be in some competitive fights in that division. You got Charlo, who's in that weight division. To be honest, I don't know why that weight division seems to be escaping me. Let me just have a look at some of those fighters who are within that division. Let me see some of the fighters in that division. I know that sounds like a real casual thing to do, but once I hit the button on BoxRec, I remember everyone. There you go. Jaime Munguia, Belanga, Andrade. When I'm reading out these names, I'm seeing competitive fights. I think, he's got him versus Zach Parker would be a real good fight. I think Mbili versus Zach Parker would be a good fight. I think the Belanga, very, very good fight. I maybe even favour him Mbili in that fight. So there's some great fights to be made for Mbili, but do I think he can challenge at the absolute top against, namely Saul Canelo Alvarez? I really don't think so. But, he's in with a shout. I think him versus Andrade would be a great fight. That would be a really good fight. I think that he would have to be careful early on, but he could definitely win that fight. So I also want to talk about Makhmudov. Can Makhmudov come back from that defeat? For me, when Makhmudov lost to Ajit Kabayel, I said fighters are going to come for his neck, because the thing is, when you're unbeaten, some fighters have already given up before the bell goes. But once you've taken a loss, fighters are not scared to give it a go against you. So with Arsenbet Makhmudov, once he lost his unbeaten record, fighters were not so scared to go in there and give it a go. And even in his comeback fight against the Journeyman, that Journeyman actually hurt Makhmudov. People don't really talk about it. I think it was a right hand. That Journeyman hurt Makhmudov. And so I think moving forward for Arsenbet Makhmudov, I will give him one more go. But I think with Makhmudov, there are some limitations. In fact, I should make a separate video about that. I think he lacks physical strength. I think he lacks the body mechanics to defend himself properly, but he's a big puncher. But I think with Arslan Bekmambetov, maybe give him one more crack at the whip. He can box a little bit more than he's shown. I watched that in the amateurs, but for me, I think he's got his. I think we've seen his ceiling. Vianello, on the other hand, I want to quickly talk about. He surprised me because for me, he always had the skills to pay the bills, but at the same time, he looked vulnerable. But against Makhmudov, he surprised me. Against a Jag, but he surprised me. So I would like to see where Vianello can go. I've seen a couple people talk about how he's similar to Hughie Fury, but with a bit more power, and I'd have to second that. I think Vianello can be useful in the heavyweight division. And I'm going to finish off by talking about Fabio Wardley versus Fraser Clark, the rematch. So apparently the British Board of Boxing Control have said that that fight is likely to happen. And for me, I actually think that Fabio Wardley took more punishment. The first fight took more out of Fabio Wardley than it did with Fraser Clark. And I think that the first fight was there for Fraser Clark to win. And I think the second fight, I would be favouring Fraser Clark. As long as Fraser Clark comes in disciplined, well trained, and he actually sticks to his game plan, I would say that Fraser Clark has more chance of winning that fight. And I think that he should definitely look to just keep on his boxing, and I think he can definitely win that fight, in my opinion. Anyway, that's my midweek report. Let me know what you think about what I spoke about in this video. Let me know, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, hit the notification bell so you get a notification when I make a new video. If you appreciate my work and want to leave a donation, there's a link for that in the description. With that, enjoy the rest of your day. See you on the next one.